agenda, I have everyone's objectives there as well.
Perspectives. We all have one, and they're all unique to us through our experiences. They're also relative to your place in time and information available. Human history is peppered with truths that we just knew to be infallible, yet were proven fallible. I'll give you an example from my own life. About 15 years ago, I was enjoying a delicious Indian Pale Ale with some friends of mine. And I was thinking to myself, God, I like drinking beer. I just don't think there's anything I will ever like more than drinking this beer. I got older, my perspective changed, and I have a career, I have a house, wife, 3 kids. Now that I have all these things in my life, I really love drinking beer. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I find perspective fascinating. And just to think, there's some issue or event happening right now, and this could be anything, an issue at work, an issue at home, upcoming speech, that we think is of the utmost importance and significance. In the near future, will be utterly insignificant. So I'm going to talk about perspective tonight. And maybe you'll think about such an event that's happening right now and how future generations might perceive that event. Because I think it would behoove the world if we could all at least try to think beyond the present. For the first perspective, I need to take you all the way back to 1890s New York City. Jim, you remember, right? But imagine you're walking down the street of this bustling, burgeoning metropolis of 1.5 million people. There's the men in their top hats and women in their long, flowing gowns. And they're all getting whisked around by a horse-drawn carriage. Right? It's a lot of poop, people. Horse poop, to be specific. Right? It equated to 3 to 4 million pounds every day. It was literally piling up in the streets. Not to mention, the city was ill-equipped to handle all the dead horse carcasses. They'd be left to fester in the streets. It was a serious environmental disaster, and that's actually what they called it. Well, about that same time, this incredible new technology was gaining traction. The automobile, right? And it didn't get tired, it didn't poop, and it didn't kill over and die on you. About the worst thing that would happen is it would blow a little puff of blue smoke in your face, and then it was gone. Or so it seemed. But to the 1890s New Yorkers' perspective, the automobile was the solution to the pollution. Now, if you fast forward to 1970s Los Angeles, there's about a bazillion automobiles, right? Now, I have a little bit of personal experience with this. I grew up in San Diego, and my parents used to like to take me and my brother to Disneyland in Los Angeles. And my dad had this little game he liked to play on the car ride up there. It was the first person that could spot the Matterhorn, which was a huge, awesome roller coaster, got to pick the first ride of the day, right? So, me and my brother loved this game. Right? We grabbed our Mickey Mouse hat, put it on, we go jump in the truck, and we're sitting in the driveway, in San Diego, looking for the Matterhorn, right? Ridiculous. Now that I've been on a few road trips with my kids, in hindsight, I'm starting to think he just made that game up to get us to shut up for 2 hours. Also, back then, you couldn't see the Matterhorn until you're basically walking right up to it, because Los Angeles would have been blanketed in a thick layer of smog. I remember driving into that smog, and my eyes would start to burn and get irritated. It was crazy. But that was just the price you had to pay to go to Disneyland back then, and me and my brother were very willing to pay that price. But what was once the solution to the 1890s New Yorker was now a serious problem to the 1970s Angelino. It's a change in perspective. Now, there's also a pervasive or perceived problem happening right now, not just in America, but all over the globe. It's climate change. Right? As far as I can tell, there are 3 main perspectives on this issue. On one extreme, you got the people saying, "Oh, David, it is totally happening, and we're causing it, man." And on the other extreme, you got them saying, "Ah, that's a bunch of horse puppy. fake news and alternative facts. And then in the middle, you got people saying, yeah, well, it might be happening, but what do I care? So they turn on another episode of The Simpsons or whatever. I have my own perspective on this issue, and I know that all of you have your perspective. Now, I like to think that I'm right, and I know that you like to think you're right too. But we don't know right now. But I can say one thing. Our perspectives will change on this issue. Maybe it's because we solved the problem. Maybe it's because there wasn't a problem to begin with. Maybe aliens came down to Earth and stole all our beer. And now we wish we had a simple problem like climate change. By 2050, your perspective will change. In conclusion, I'd like to talk about Carl Sagan and how in the late 1970s, he convinced NASA that as Voyager 1 was leaving our solar system, it should turn its camera back towards Earth and take one last photograph. He admitted this would have little to no scientific value, but in his seemingly infinite wisdom, knew it could have significant meaning as a perspective on our place in the cosmos. At 3.7 billion miles, Earth takes up one tiny pixel of that photograph. It's like a grain of dust. If you didn't know what you're looking for, you wouldn't even notice it. He dubbed this the pale blue dot. From this perspective, it really makes our wars, walls, boundaries, petty politics seem vastly insignificant. As he put it, this underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. If we can change our perspective, we can change our world. Thank you, Toastmasters.